If you ever wondered which country is the ultimate Mediterranean spot for those looking to live a peaceful, sunny and healthy life in Europe while paying lower taxes, I've got a groundbreaking comparison that will completely change the way you see both Italy and Greece. I have been to both places numerous times and talked to numerous expats living there, and today I will show you how those two countries compare against each other, and 5 factors that almost nobody compares. But these factors are essential to your quality of life. Things that, if neglected, could make you miss out on the best years of your life, and by the end of this video, I will compare 3 cities in Greece to 3 cities in Italy. And considering all these factors, plus the cost of living, we will crown the king of Mediterranean destinations for retirees looking to move abroad. Ready? We'll not include in this comparison things like the weather. I'm sure you know how glorious and splendid is the weather in both Italy and Greece. They are Mediterranean nations after all. I will also not talk about the food, which is also mouth-watering in both countries. But on a side note, Greek cuisine is in my opinion the best in the world and tarama salata is the best dip. We start our comparison with a factor that directly impacts everyone's pockets. Which Mediterranean country has lower taxes on income and pensions from abroad, Italy or Greece? Italy offers an attractive tax regime where you can pay much lower taxes than in countries like France or Portugal. But it comes with specific conditions. In this special tax regime, individuals pay a flat tax rate of 7% on income from abroad during the first 10 years. So if you earn the equivalent of 50,000 euros per year, this is less than half of the percentage you would pay in France, for example. Because differently than Italy, France does not offer a flat tax rate for expat retirees, but just a progressive system that would take more than 16% of their income. However, this attractive tax regime offered by Italy has some conditions. First, it's valid only in the southern regions of the country. These regions include Sicily, Calabria, Sardinia, and parts of Campania, Basilicata, and Puglia. Another rule is that this special tax treatment is only valid for towns with populations below 20,000 people, so if you are thinking of moving to a larger city like Bari or Palermo, you won't benefit from those lower rates. It's an attractive deal, but it's highly specific to these less populated areas. Make it perfect for someone looking for a quieter lifestyle in smaller towns. Greece, on the other hand, has a very similar special tax regime, also with just a flat tax rate of 7%, but with a big difference. It applies across the entire country, without restricting the benefit to certain regions or small towns. In Greece, expats can benefit from a flat 7% tax rate on their worldwide income, regardless of whether they choose to live in Athens, Thessalonika, or one of its islands. While in Italy, you have the benefit of these much lower taxes for the first 10 years after you move there, in Greece, this tax regime is available for up to 15 years. In short, Italy's tax benefits are very attractive, but limited to smaller cities in the southern regions. Greece, by contrast, allows this flat tax rate nationwide, giving you the freedom to choose between larger cities or tranquil island life. So if flexibility in location is important to you, Greece takes the upper hand. The next question is a bit less complex to learn, and maybe that's why so many people ignore it, but they regret later. Is it easier to buy, drive, and maintain a car in Italy or Greece? Italy offers a wide range of choices of cars if you are buying locally, from compact city cars ideal for navigating narrow streets, to luxury brands like Ferrari and Maserati, born right in the country. As someone who drove in southern Italy, I strongly recommend you to not take a too large car. It will be a nightmare to maneuver in the narrow urban roads of some older towns. In terms of costs, car prices are not expensive, but not as cheap as in the US, for example. Things get tricky with other related expenses. Road taxes and fuel prices in Italy are among the highest in Europe. The government imposes a imposta provinciale di trascrizione, which is essentially a car registration tax. This cost varies depending on the region, but it's a non-negligible amount, especially for higher-end cars. Add to that the cost of gasoline, which consistently ranks as one of the most expensive in Europe. On the plus side, Italy has an extensive highway system, with the famous autostrade network allowing for fast and efficient travel. However, many of these highways are toll roads, so you need to budget for that. Now let's look at Greece. Buying a car in Greece tends to be a bit more affordable than in Italy, particularly if you're purchasing a used vehicle. However, the choices might be more limited, especially on the island where dealerships and options can be fewer. Greece has also imposed high taxes on imported cars, particularly vehicles with higher emissions. Fuel prices in Greece are similar to Italy and sometimes even slightly more expensive. This can make a difference, especially if you plan to drive frequently or live in a more remote area where public transportation might not be as reliable. Road taxes in Greece are more straightforward, but they can still add up, especially for larger vehicles with higher engine capacities. Greece's road network is decent between large cities, but quality varies when you consider less inhabited areas, especially mountainous or island regions. Tolls are less frequent in Greece than in Italy. And in summary, if you are planning on owning a car, both countries come with their challenges. Italy has higher initial and ongoing costs, but with a more developed infrastructure. Greece, on the other hand, has fewer road tolls but more variability in road quality. But what about the driving style of Southern Italians versus Greeks? Well, in Southern Italy, driving can be a bit of an adventure, especially if you're from a country with more orderly traffic behavior like in Scandinavia. Rules exist, of course, but they are sometimes treated as guidelines rather than strict laws. Tailgating, overtaking on narrow roads, and ignoring traffic signals are not uncommon, and motorbikes weaving between cars add an extra layer of unpredictability. This isn't to say that everyone drives recklessly, but you need to be a confident and defensive driver in southern Italy. It's part of the culture, and while it can be stressful for newcomers, locals seem to navigate these roads with an impressive amount of skill and awareness. Now, Greece is a similar story, but with its own unique twist. In larger cities, drivers also have a reputation for being less than cautious. Roundabouts, which are increasingly common, can be particularly challenging as the rules are not always followed. I know that from experience. Outside the cities, especially on the island, you note a more relaxed driving style. However, roads can become narrow, windy, and poorly maintained, which adds to the risk. Greece has higher rates of road fatalities compared to many other European countries. Parking in Greece, like in southern Italy, can be a bit of a challenge. That's why, again, people tend to wisely prefer smaller cars. In conclusion, both southern Italy and Greece have some differences between them, but for someone who is used to northern Europe, the driving style of both look quite similar. So, here's a tie between Italy and Greece. To solve this tie, let's answer another question. Which country makes it simpler to get a driver license as an expat? In Italy, if you are an EU citizen, you can use your home country's driver license without any need to convert it. However, for non-EU citizens, things get a bit more complicated. Non-EU expats can use their foreign license for up to 12 months, but after that, they must either convert their existing license or take the Italian driving exam. Italy has agreements with certain countries allowing a relatively simple license exchange. If your country has this agreement with Italy, you are in luck. It's mostly paperwork. But for those from countries without an agreement, you need to take the theoretical and practical exams, which are all in Italian, and if this changed, please correct me in the comment section. Moreover, the bureaucracy in Italy is well known for being slow. While the licensing system works, you should expect some delays and additional paperwork. The whole process can take a few months to complete, so it's wise to start early if you're nearing the end of your 12-month period. Now, how does Greece compare? Greece has the exactly same rules and process as Italy for both EU and non-EU expats, but one notable difference is that Greece's driving tests can be taken in English, making the process a little more accessible for expats. So when it comes to simplicity and ease, Greece has a slight edge over Italy here. The next factor in our comparison is among the most interesting of all. How much of a challenge is learning the language of each country? This one is very easy to answer. The Foreign Service Institute of the US already helped us with that by ranking all European languages in 5 categories of difficulty for English speakers to learn. The easiest ones are in category 1, Here are languages like Spanish, Dutch, and Italian. Meanwhile, Greek is in category 4, together with languages like Polish and Turkish. So yes, Greek is considerably more difficult to learn than Italian. This is what Mr. Estrada, a viewer of our channel, told us about his experiences with Italian and Greek language. Open quote. "We had a wonderful time in Puglia. It was very easy to speak Italian with them, and they really appreciated us speaking their language. Both Greece and Italy have a lot in the way of historical sites and great food, but the one big advantage for Italy is the language, especially written. It would take only a short time for us to master Italian, but a long time to master Greek, especially written." End quote. So as you can see, point for Italy here. Some might say that the difficulty of learning Greek is compensated by the fact that many more people in Greece are able to speak English than in Italy. And that is true, but here is an important point. If you plan to move to anywhere in Greece or Italy, but especially to small towns, get ready to learn some of the local language. It's not that difficult, and once you start to speak it, your life will be so much better. The difference in your daily interactions with the locals is mind-blowing. In the comment section, I put the link for a very effective software that I use to learn languages. You can try it for free, and if you decide to subscribe, you get a 40% discount. The next question to answer in our comparison is, which country offers retirees better access to affordable healthcare, Italy or Greece? In terms of private healthcare, private insurance costs in Italy tend to be higher than in Greece. A comprehensive private insurance plan in Italy could range from 1,000 to 3,000 euros annually, depending on age and health. In Greece, private insurance is more affordable, typically ranging from 600 to 2,000 euros annually. Private doctors in Greece also tend to be more proficient in English. In terms of public healthcare, Italy has a system known as the Servizio Sanitario Nazionale. Expat retirees who are legal residents can access the system after all the bureaucratic procedures and by paying a fee. Greece has a public healthcare system, Ethniko Sistema Ygeias, which is available to all residents, including expat retirees. However, public healthcare in Greece has suffered from underfunding in recent years, and waiting times can be long. In both Italy and Greece, healthcare quality varies immensely between regions, but due to lower price of private healthcare insurance, Greece has the point. So we'll compare specific Greek and Italian cities against each other to give you a clear idea of how they measure up. Now, the next factor is often ignored, but it makes an enormous difference in day-to-day life. How easy is it to integrate into local communities as a foreigner in Italy compared to Greece? Southern Italians are known for their warm, welcoming nature. Foreigners often report that people are friendly, especially in smaller towns. However, integrating can be more challenging if you don't speak Italian. English proficiency in the south is lower compared to the north, which can create a language barrier, but remember, Italian is not difficult to learn. Greece is also known for its hospitality. The Greek concept of philoxenia, or love for strangers, makes foreigners feel welcome. English is widely spoken, particularly in larger cities, making it easier for non-Greek speakers to integrate initially. A big similarity between southern Italy and Greece is the importance of traditions and family ties. Locals tend to have close-knit social circles, which can make it harder for newcomers to fully integrate. However, joining local activities like cultural and religious festivals and public events help build connections. And you would be surprised to know how many festivities small towns in southern Italy and Greece have per year. Due to the similarities, here is also a tie between both, and each get an extra point. Now, Greece leads by 1 point. So far, the score is very close, so it's time for the most important part of our comparison. How do Italy and Greece compare when it comes to the cost of living for retirees? Before we jump to the most interesting part of this video, I would like to ask a small favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe button. So both Italy and Greece are countries with a high variety of regions and cities. From small villages to large cities, the cost of living varies tremendously. Therefore, to compare apples with apples, we'll match 3 Italian cities with their Greek equivalents in 3 different sizes. The first category is cities, or rather towns, with less than 20,000 residents. The Italian competitor is Sant'Agata di Militello, and the Greek counterpart is Parga. Let's start by looking at Sant'Agata di Militello in Italy, located on the northern coast of Sicily, facing the Tyrrhenian Sea. This town has a population of around 12,000 residents, making it a peaceful and quiet spot for retirees seeking a slower pace of life. One major advantage of Sant'Agata is that it qualifies for Italy's special tax regime, since it has less than 20,000 residents. This special tax regime allows retirees to pay only a 7% flat income tax on foreign pensions for up to 10 years. Life in Sant'Agata comes with beautiful coastal views, with the Aeolian island just a short ferry ride away. The cost of living is also lower compared to larger Italian cities. However, retirees might face a language barrier, as English proficiency in this part of Sicily is low, so learning Italian would be essential for smoother integration into the local community. While the town offers a rich cultural experience with local festivals and Sicilian hospitality, it has limited healthcare facilities and amenities, meaning some trips to Messina, around 100 kilometers away, might be necessary. It's a small town with almost no public transport, so owning a car might be essential. Now let's compare Sant'Agata with Parga, a picturesque coastal town located in northwestern Greece on the Ionian coast. One of Parga's advantages is that due to its tourism-driven economy, many locals speak English, making it easier for expats to settle in without needing to immediately learn Greek. The town's natural beauty is undeniable, with its crystal-clear waters and scenic surroundings. Similar to Sant'Agata, healthcare facilities in Parga are limited, and for more serious medical issues, travel to larger cities like Ioannina, around 100 kilometers away, is necessary. While during summer, Parga has more than 10,000 inhabitants, it has only 2,500 residents during the off-season. During summer, this influx of tourists gives the town a lively, energetic atmosphere, but it can feel quieter during the off-season, with fewer activities and events. Another downside is that during summer, some things tend to be more expensive. Let's see what you can buy for 9,000 euros, less than $100,000 in each city. In Sant'Agata di Militello, with that budget, you can buy a 120 square meter apartment with 4 rooms and just 123 meters for the seaside. Now, in Parga, for a similar price, you can buy a 2-room apartment with 65 square meters, located a bit farther in the countryside instead of closer to the seaside. As said before, Parga has a more touristic appeal, so prices there are higher than in Sant'Agata, including housing prices. Despite the two cities being similar in many aspects, here, Sant'Agata di Militello, the Italian town, has the upper hand due to the lower costs. Point for Italy. The next comparison is between two medium-sized cities, Ragusa in Italy and Kalamata in Greece. Ragusa is located in the southeastern part of Sicily and has a population of around 73,000 people. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site famous for its Baroque architecture and historic charm. Ragusa offers a relatively low cost of living compared to larger Italian cities, making it attractive to retirees. While it does not fall under Italy's 7% flat tax regime, as the population exceeds 20,000, it still allows for a peaceful lifestyle with excellent local food and a Mediterranean weather. Healthcare in Ragusa is quite good for a city of its size, with Ospedale Civile Maria Paterno Arezzo providing comprehensive medical care. The Greek counterpart to Ragusa is Kalamata in the Peloponnese region. It's almost the same size, with around 70,000 residents, but with this size you have most of the benefits of a city without the cows and high prices. This is what a local told us, open quote, "I feel it's hard to beat Kalamata as a value proposition for remote work, and it's only 2.5 hours from Athens by car," end quote. By the way, if you are a fan of olives, like me, know that this city has some of the best in the world. One key benefit for expat retirees in Kalamata is that they can still take advantage of Greece's 7% flat tax regime on worldwide income for up to 15 years, regardless of the city size. English is widely spoken in Kalamata, which can ease integration for foreign residents. In terms of healthcare, Kalamata has the Kalamata General Hospital, which provides a large range of medical services for everyday needs. So in the comparison between both cities, Ragusa offers historical charm, good local healthcare, and a comfortable lifestyle, but no special tax incentives. Kalamata, on the other hand, gives you access to the 7% tax regime, making it financially advantageous for retirees. Both cities provide a peaceful atmosphere, but Kalamata and Greece get the point here due to higher English proficiency and broader tax benefits. The last comparison is between two larger cities, both regional capitals. Bari in Italy versus Thessaloniki in Greece. Bari is located on the Adriatic coast in the southern region of Puglia and has a population of about 320,000 people. Bari is known for its beautiful old town Bari Vecchia and its proximity to stunning coastal areas. Bari does not qualify for Italy's 7% flat tax regime since it exceeds the population limit, but it still offers a way cheaper cost of living compared to northern Italian cities like Milan. Healthcare in Bari is quite good, and the city hosts several well-regarded hospitals like the Policlinico di Bari, providing comprehensive medical services. Bari's connectivity to the rest of Europe is also highly developed with an international airport and frequent train connections to the rest of Italy, making it convenient for both travel and healthcare access. Competing with Bari, we have Thessaloniki in central Macedonia. This is the second largest city in Greece, with around 319,000 residents in the city and nearly 1 million in its metropolitan area. As with every big city, it has its pros and cons. Lots of cars and noise in certain parts, but also good hospitals, plenty of things to do, and an international airport. One good characteristic of Thessaloniki is that it's considerably cheaper and safer than Athens. Locals also say that one huge advantage is how close the city is to Halkidiki Peninsula, which has wonderful beaches and national parks and is just 1 hour drive away. The best neighborhoods in Thessaloniki for an expat, according to locals, are Kalamata, Sofuli, and Tomba. This is what a local told me about the city. Open quote. Thessaloniki would be the way to go. Beautiful, popular, easy to walk around, inexpensive, great people. End quote. When you compare the cost of living in Bari versus Thessaloniki, the Italian city is slightly cheaper. Even more than Bari, Thessaloniki can be crowded and has a faster pace of life, and traffic and urban congestion are common. But how do they compare in terms of the cost of housing? If you prefer to rent, and your budget is 700 euros per month, in Bari, for exactly 700 euros, you can rent a 4-room flat with 115 square meters in a very central part of the town, close to Piazza Giardino Garibaldi. Meanwhile, in Thessaloniki, for the same price, if you prefer to rent, and your budget is 700 euros per month, you can rent an apartment with 2 bedrooms and 93 square meters, just a bit smaller than the one in Bari. The comparison between Bari and Thessaloniki is really tight. If you have a very high income, maybe Thessaloniki is a better option due to lower income tax of only 7%. However, for a middle-class expat retiree, Bari takes the upper hand due to the lower cost of living. In our final score, it's a tie. Italy 5, Greece 5. It goes down to lifestyle choices. If you prefer a smaller town, southern Italy has multiple advantages, including the special tax regime and a very low cost of living. For medium cities, Greece has the upper hand since their special tax regime has no limitation for city size like Italy. Now, since we are talking about lower taxes, there is a tiny island in Europe with excellent weather and also lower income taxes for expats. I'm talking about Malta. If you are curious to know more about it, check this video here at your left. You will be surprised.